Welcome back, viewers, for our first panel discussion of day two of the second Elets National CIO Conclave 2021. So, the topic for this panel discussion will be Industry 4.0, redefining manufacturing amid the new normal. So, our panelists for today will be Mr. Gopi Thangavel, Vice President, Reliance Industries, and Mr. Sharad Agarwal, Group Chief Information Officer, JK Tire and Industries. This panel will be moderated again by Mr. Karthik Sharma, Managing Editor, Elets Technomedia. So, without wasting much time, I'll hand it over to Mr. Karthik to take over the session.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Aman, for giving me this opportunity. And I'm grateful of all the audience who are joining us in this second ELETS National CIO Virtual Conclave, and audience is joining us on Avatar, a virtual 3D platform by Elets Technomedia. And I'm very, very thankful to all these two eminent leaders of industry, Mr. Gopi Thangawal, Vice President of Reliance Industries, and Mr. Sharad Agarwal, Group Chief Information Officer of JK Tire and Industries, two very eminent and renowned organizations of this country. And it's a pleasure to have these two leaders. Warm welcome and thanks for joining us, Mr. Gopi and Mr. Sharad.
Thank you, Karthik, for having us. Thank you.
Thank
A
you for
pleasure.
having us.
Pleasure is all mine, sir. And as the topic of this panel discussion is Industry 4.0, redefining manufacturing amid new normal. There are three key points. Industry 4.0, how when industry takes a leap, it definitely redefines every sector. So industry 4.4 for 4.0, if we talk about it, we talk about redefining manufacturing. But when we add amid new normal, it changed the definition. It actually now changed this format of redefining. The world was redefining the sectors. The manufacturing world was redefining itself, but it must be a different process in ways pre-corona. I think post-corona there might be some change in the strategy. There might be some change in the way organizations are innovating now. So I think we'll focus on this in this discussion, and I'll start with my first question. And that question, I'll take the answer. I would like to request you, Mr. Gopi, to answer. How has Industry 4.0 accelerated the momentum in manufacturing industry after COVID-19? So first of all, I would like to ask you that has it accelerated the momentum? And if yes, then how? And if no, then why? Mr. Gopi.
No, thank you. See, before when we get into 4.0, if you look at the history, it's very important. See, when you look at the history, before it is very simple and straightforward. It is like our old ages, our childhood, it was very simple. Not like now more complex, like so much technology, gadgets, and so much is in life. But when you look at the old, the revolutionary one is nothing but the mass productions. Revolutionary two is nothing but the electricity add on to that in a massive way. Third is nothing but automations, IT and all getting involved. Now fourth, if you look at it, it's more complex, to be honest. It's more complex than before because we are talking about data connectivity and interfaces like robotics and other things, and analytical intelligence, live data, and monitoring and predictive analysis, and advanced engineering like 3D and many other things. So when you look at it in that way, are we okay to go?
I feel so, sir. Please continue.
Okay, thank you. So when you look at this, all these four big parameters in industry four, it is much more complex than what we thought. But at the same time, can we avoid it? No, because the change is inevitable as ever. So we can't avoid the change. What is happening in the market, what is happening surrounded us, what is going through. And either it's a government change of policy, it will impact us. Either it's a technology change in market, it will impact us. So in a way, 4.0 is unavoidable. And the good thing in 4.0 is many other things is part of it. Yes, cloud is part of it, security part of it, all the new technology is part of it. More than that, the how to make sense out of the data now much larger picture than before. it is really wide open and it is really huge nowadays. It's a and the same time 4.0, it is not only about the new technology, it is talking about the legacy also. So the pandemic, it is really give a very valuable lesson in a different way. It is ensuring that the technology we cannot avoid, the same time the whole thing you cannot give up, and you have to find a way work together. And industrial 4.0 is right, connecting thing, all these things together. That's a point. It's improved.
Right, right, wonderful. I think you are very right about this. That how transition has to be taking place and is taking place in Industry 4.0. I would like to ask the same question, starting question to you, Mr. Sharad, that this Industry 4.0, how are you, how industry is redefining itself, and how different it is now after COVID-19. Your take on this, Mr. Sharad?
Actually, you have very little to say after Gopiji has completed, because he starts from the very basic and takes it to the very advanced. Matlab, he starts from kindergarten till PhD level, he completes in a single answer. So, but I like to take a different analogy. Look like pre-COVID, the time to market for any vaccine was multiple years, but because it was necessitated by the times, that the cycle, the processes, the SOPs were changed. Means there were technological changes, there were statutory changes, there were multiple changes that made it possible to release the vaccines for the masses within a year, less than a year. So similarly, when we come to manufacturing, we talk of IoT Industry 4.0. So we were all in several stages, stage 1, 2, 3, but it necessitated us to try to be there at the topmost ladder, irrespective of where we were during the same time. So what it proves is that human endeavors automatically get aligned in the direction, means because necessity is mother of the invention. So that's why adoption became driven by the necessity, and it has really fast paced the adoption of technology because of multiple factors: people not being available, not being able to reach the exact place they to the plants. So things are changing and are changing for the good. That's all I can add. Thank you.
That's wonderful. I think it's great to see this ray of hope and ray of positivity. Even you can say a blessing in disguise. And as somebody has said that we should never waste any crisis. And definitely, I think the industry should not waste this crisis, and it should innovate in this new normal. I would like to ask you a question, Mr. Gopi, that what changes in terms of connectivity, intelligence, and flexible automation do you witness lately? Your take on this, Mr. Gopi?
Thank you. See, when we look at it, I'm just talking in a way specific to industry 4.0. So when we talk about the industry 4.0 and how is it evolving right now, the overall thing, either it's a connectivity or whatever it is. When we look at the fundamental principle of it, our fundamental framework of this, it will be able to translate into what we are doing. First, we need an interconnections anyway. The interconnection is nothing but the sensors or devices or the ability to connect to them each device to device and multiple things. All need to be interconnected with the IoT or IIoT or whatever the things you want to use it. So the moment we talk about the interconnections, so what is next? Then we are talking about the data. So the moment it is getting connected, then how you are going to take out of the data, or when you take out the data, what are the things you are going to do about it? Are you going to automate it? Are you going to predictive analysis? Are you going to do that benefit whatever the things is for the implementing it? Or what you are going to do about it? Then over and above, the decision making is coming to the picture, which is industry 4 call it out as a technical assistance. So the overall decision making, how human and technology together, it will evolve and help the human to take a tough call or whatever the call needs to be taken, which is going to help the human actually. Fourth is many people not comfortable with that, which is a decentralization. So the decentralization is nothing but if something is going on in a massive productions or any other activities, is there the system able to do whatever they're supposed to do within that particular area or particular location or particular device itself? So it's no need to wait for that, the centralized system need to take a call or something, and you can take it in their own way. So when you look at this, all these things together, when you just connected the dots, we are able to achieve. That's all.
That's right. I think connecting the dots is very, very important. What is your take on this, being a CIO of JK Tires and Industries? What is your take on connectivity and flexible automation lately, Mr. Sharad?
So yeah, look, this connectivity, we need the internet, and probably internet services being OBG part of that industry itself has been the savior for all of us, for all the collaboration and everything we have been doing. And there are so many platforms. Now we are using StreamYard. Apart from that, we have X, Y, Z. So many platforms that have come up, and connectivity has been the savior for the, I would say, not just industry, but even for education. For each and everything, you are getting connected through availability of the connectivity. I was very skeptic in March last year that what will happen. That I was personally believing that all this will crash. But hats off to all the ISPs who were able to keep it up. Means that's I would like to thank all of them from bottom of my heart. So connectivity has become the, I would say, the base element of anything. And yes, now everything needs to connect with everything. Probably there would be a time that these things would be connected to human mind also remotely. Now everything is becoming wireless. You get a phone which can be charged wirelessly. Means things will keep on growing, things will keep on moving in that direction. Coming to flexible automation, Gopiji rightly said that we shall not wait for automation to be done, something to be done centrally. Means from I'll like to see it other way. Flexible automation can be looked at as agile automation. You do it in sprints, which can be weeks, months, means not defining the timelines, but don't wait for whole hog to be done. Do it flexibly from adoption perspective, and wherever you see more gains, do it there first. Gains can be not just from a productivity perspective, gains can be in the safety domain also. And yes, intelligence. So uh, one of my colleagues were discussing yesterday. His son was asked a question that how will you do this? He told him of the correct the latest way. He said no. How will you do it basically? But why we need to do it in a base manner if we have something which, suppose I want to multiply two big numbers, why shall I do it on paper if I can do it using a calculator? So intelligence, human intelligence is to be supported by so-called artificial intelligence. I'm calling it so-called. Actually, it's not artificial intelligence. It's just trying to, in different formats of RPA, MLAI, it's just trying to aid the human mind to do the core jobs for us and leave the creative part to the human mind. That would be my take on it. Thank you.
Uh, right, Mr. Sharad, you are very much right that how automation is important. But I would like to ask you that we see the automobile industry is now, expected to see a very strong growth in coming years, maybe in 2021, 22, 23. I think similarly, I think then maybe the tire industry may also see some growth. So, do you see the role of automation and digital transformation also in accelerating these growth
Yes,
in the industry?
yes, certainly. But coming to the first part, that we see a strong growth, it is unfortunately being hampered by worldwide shortage of chips. So people believe that chips are just making a means, probably these laptops or servers are the ones which are getting hampered. No, even the automobile manufacturing, many of the manufacturers, I'm not calling out any name, but they are taking production cuts to the tune of 25 to 40% in October itself. So we have a rosy picture from a demand perspective, but from a supply chain perils perspective, we see a different picture. But the sentiment overall, even if we, so when we are doing the yearly planning, the SBPs, etc., we have a positive outlook. And yes, what I personally feel is that automobile industry can be taken as a barometer of any economy. So if automobile industry does good, every though it's not 50% of the GDP, it's couple of percentage points of the GDP, but still it can be treated as barometer of the growth of an economy. So if they do good, obviously tire industry will do good. So we have a very positive outlook for that. And yes, automation and everything is going to enhance it to the next level from both perspectives. It will help us increase the productivity, increase the revenue, as well as do some cost savings at the baseline levels of everything will get translated to EBITDA. That's the thought. But let's keep our finger crossed and hope for the best.
Yes, we look forward to it. That's right. Mr. Gopi, when we talk of Reliance Industries, it caters to, it's a large gamut and, caters to a lot of various different sectors, be it telecom, be it energy, petrochemicals, hydrocarbons, oil, uh, natural gas, retail, media, textile, huge. So, do you think any specific sectors where you see more of automation and more of digital transformation happening?
See, irrespective of any industry, automations cannot be avoided. The reason being is very simple, old way only. If you go and talk to any leaders, including either it's Ajit Premji or Mr. Mukesh Ambani, or you talk about Tata or anyone, they will tell only one mantra, which is do more with less. This is the mantra going to be there always. Even you go and ask another 100 year, also people going to say the same thing, not going to change that. The reason being is you are keep going to add more services, more assets, more informations, more data, more you are keep going to add. That is not going to change. So the thing is, you cannot rapidly size up the team or size up anything. It is impossible humanly. Because even you want to recruit today, based on as per the analytical, you want to recruit 10,000 people just to manage it. It is impossible. You will get a budget approval 100 people only. That's how it works. Now the reality is how are you going to achieve it? Only by automation. Another one is you cannot afford human errors anymore because one human error it will cost a lot. Everybody knows that. We know we are victim of many other either it's a Facebook downtime or you look at the biggest largest cloud service providers downtime or SaaS services downtime. The biggest all are not small players, all are massive global players. And it's how is it happening? You go there, the one change failed, or one small activities failed. They didn't size it, or some outages happened. All these things, if you look at it, it is just because of the interoperability or coordinations or simple automation could solve that problem. But it's not easy like what we think. So the automation, it is going to be there and it is going to be massive. And but a lot of people started to give a wrong informations like it will replace humans or it will reduce humans. In a way, what I can see is it will increase the efficiency of the human and it will add more value to the human. And there is a new sector job openings always going to be there for the automation.
No, definitely, definitely. I was moderating a session yesterday, and I think it was discussed that even the new technology, the new digital infrastructure is very tough, to I think so. Saying that it will take human jobs and people's jobs. I think you are right. It may create more opportunities, more employment opportunities, and more skilling opportunities for people. Definitely right in various different industries. And you rightly mentioned about this Facebook downtime. I was reading somewhere that a few hours of downtime in this Facebook cost them more than 50,000 crores of rupees or something like that. It's huge. So, an error of a minute or an hour costs a lot these days because structures are very huge and there we cannot afford these errors nowadays. On that same line, I would like to ask you, Mr. Sharad, that now when we talk of smart machines and and legacy, So, very simply, I would like to ask you that how do you sync both these things, the smart machines and the legacy, Mr. Sharad?
No, honestly, there's no option of not to do it. And it's also not possible just to shun away the complete legacy. In very few cases, you will have to discard a legacy system completely and build a new system, net new system. But normally, what will happen, because people are using that legacy system for longer times, so it makes sense to let that system remain as the UI or the interaction system. In the backend, you need to integrate them with the smarter machine. So there's no choice. One, but secondly, nowadays options are available to connect them very simply using very basic protocols, basic devices. Means if you go even to a machine which is not having any port available to connect, you can still connect. They are very simpler and very cost effective manners to connecting it to the network that you want to. So these smart machines. So look at us, because we our first plant is 1976, and our latest plant is state of the art, which was commissioned 7 10 years 2014, 7 years back. So if we compare both of the plants, there's a lot of difference, but the systems that prevail in both of the places in which we need to connect are similar. So cloud plays a vital role. So now you need to have a edge device at place that collects the data from these legacy systems and can throw it up to a cloud or a central server. There, then you can do the data massaging, do advanced analytics, and throw the insight back to work upon and guide the machine. So it has become very easy to connect the legacy and the smart machine. Means both as a requirement and both from a technology perspective, it's easily doable. Thank you.
Right. I would like to ask you the same question, Mr. Gopi. But when you talk of Reliance Industries, you have a big legacy, and it must have been challenging to change things, with this with new technologies. How do you deal with that?
See, it's not only Reliance actually. If you look at it, any industry in that sense, see, it is like a love-hate relation. That's how it works. If you look at that entire legacy, when you took the massive productions, which is the device is doing for quite some time, you can't just go and replace it because first, when you plan to replace it, there should be some reasoning for it. Like, okay, it's not able to operate as per the efficiency or as per the productivity or whatever it is, or it's not able to give you the control, proximity or sensor integration not possible, or the data we are not able to generate. Because the biggest problem with the legacy is you have to many devices you have to shut down to generate the data. It's not like the new technology, like you can just pull it out the data, because there is so much challenge will be in legacy. And the way coming up to data also it's different. So you have to convert into the legacy, into the new technology. But all these cons are there. But at the same time, new technology, many people they are not able to see the great success like the old machines, how they perform in the continuous massive productions. The new always have some new bugs or new things, and it's a lot of trial and error. Second is the biggest challenge, all the industry, even not only limited to manufacturing, any industry, the skill set. Because these guys are fine tuned with the existing legacy like anything. And you bring any new technology, the guy, the technology itself is 1 year old, for example. The guy knows maybe 1 month old actually. It's like a baby. You need to learn everything from that starting to scratch. It is like I'm learning German and you are a German. So maybe I'm a LKG for you, even though I'm so proud about I'm able to read and write, but still I'm a LKG or UKG only. But you will be you're native. That is completely different. So it never work in that way. But at the same time, we cannot get away from the new technology. New technology is necessary because we have to see that what is the predictive analysis or what is going to happen. This guy is the new technology only going to tell us, and it is that's where the actually when we talk about the legacy, definitely the twin, digital twin come into the picture of in a major way because if you look at that, there is a book called Mirror actually. It's wrote by David. So he mentioned it in a very nice way, and people got so much impressed. Even NASA adopted that digital twin in first time. And they said, you want to go to spacecraft or anything, first you do the replica and ensure that the entire thing is getting replicated in an artificial intelligent way or a digital way or the process flow way, whatever it is. We have to do that efficiency and do the mark deal. Everything is success. Then only we are going to invest on the real testing scenarios, because they don't want to even invest, because the testings, even you want to do the manufacturing testing is not that easy, because that also requires so many crores of investment, because it's really need a massive one. So this digital twin kind of new technology only going to help us in that way, which is we can't avoid it. So again, I'm saying the same thing. It is like a love-hate relation, because the old guys strongly believe this is the best. The new guys strongly believe this guy doesn't know. Old guys doesn't know anything. The new technology going to rule the world. But the problem is, the old guy, the new guy, he cannot evaluate the old legacy because he don't know what it is. But the old legacy guy can able to evaluate the new technology. So when the senior leaders are sufficient enough to understand that, then what will happen? They will pull the old guys. Okay, you know what? This entire logic is there. Is it really applicable to the new logic or new whatever the technology or new device is coming to the market? Is it really adaptable? Is it really working? And is it really meeting it? So the old plus new combination, even it's a love-hate relation, it's need to be there. I think then we can make it success.
No, I think very likely suggested in here. And on the similar lines, we have got one audience question also. I think on the similar lines, the question is that how is technology boost post-industrial revolution 4.0? It helped you to deal with employee safety and operational continuity. So employee safety and operational continuity, the question is basically on these 2 points. Mr. Sharad, would you like to answer that?
So one was the safety, and what's the other point, Vishnuji?
Operational continuity.
Okay, okay. So means from IoT perspective, I would say that at at my place, I was not able to do lot just because of COVID from a safety perspective. But yes, there had been some other manners that we were managing it. But yeah, digital played a role because we, apart from the Aragyu Setu app, we had a JK Care app launched for all of the employees, in which there were groups, means peer groups and cross-functional groups also, in which people were just posting their health status of themselves and their families regularly. Means it was during peak of the COVID times, and whatever help was needed, we were trying to help each other out digitally, because it was not possible for everyone to ask call each and everyone. So whenever anyone was in distress, yes, we used to call, and we had made a central sort of a core team of multiple people who were trying to help people find hospital beds for anyone. Means not just it, normally it was focused for JK employees and their families, but sometimes even if it was a neighbor who required something, we tried to help. So to find out the medicines, to provide each and every help, oxygen whatsoever. So per se IoT was not involved, it was more of a digital way. But yes, the other important thing that was very important and that helped us scrap through these tough times was compassion for each other irrespective of anything. So we learn to be, I feel that we all learn to be more human during these tough times, and we value human life more than ever before. Now, coming to the business continuity part, yes, IoT will be playing a role. I can't say that it has become foolproof from IoT perspective. It will play a role, and we will certainly reach there. But from a business, so other thing that helped us from a business continuity perspective was having a proper BCMS framework in place. Look, our means the data centers and all related things were being managed, so there was not even a single minute outage, and thank God. Because even when Facebook can have a outage, you can't say that you can't have a outage. So that was managed because of some earlier decision that was taken, and that came to a rescue. I'll use that word. Yeah, thanks.
Right. Would like to take your take, Mr. Gopi, on the same these
Yeah,
two very important points of employees safety and operational
yes.
continuity.
See, if you ask me much, when we compare with the last so many almost hundreds of years of manufacturing, this is the right time. Many things happening in a better way for the employees. Even in simple take about the quality of the whatever the operational things is happening. So they are able to predict it very clearly. Okay, this machine always going to have this problem, and this machine have this problem, and all. They're able to sense it very well in advance, so they will not nobody put their life in risk. Second is there are many other activity the people have to perform with the augmented reality nowadays. So even the investment also reduced and the risk also reduced drastically. So when they use it in augmented reality, they are able to perform the way they want. Even you look at the pharma industry, simple example. They invest a lot of crores and crores of money for even the simple test or simple, even you want to hand over the device to the guy to operate. First, you need to go through the testing and practice, and in such a massive, expensive devices, you can't practice it because if you do one small mistake, it will cost so much, and including human life. So that's where the augmented reality, then they will certify, okay, this guy now able to perform, no matter what. Then it's go. The same thing, wristband and so much is there, dashboards and everything. Sitting in somewhere thousands of miles away, you can monitor your manufacturing, what is happening, even in the temperature or overutilized or underutilized, or people are in risk or temperature. You can monitor each and everything with the hundreds of sensors and new IoT and all the technology. And it's able to predict you like, okay, you know what? You always get a hinge on this October month. You always have a problem in Unit 6, or you are always have a problem in this Thursdays. So it will predict everything with the proper things where people able to go away and be safe on that. I think that is the brilliant and beautiful thing happen with the not only digital twin, including with the 4.0.
Right. So lastly, I will ask you, both of you, one question, and that keeping this technological transformation in mind, how you guys planning your next year? You say like 2022. So I'll start with you, Mr. Sharad. What are the plans for 2022, and what should be the plans for the industry in 2022, keeping the technology in mind?
Yeah, that's means because we all the industry have gone through tough times. So two things, rather three things that shall be kept in mind from a technology perspective is resilience of the technology. Means suppose if I'm not able to do it from point A, location A, device B, there shall be backup of doing everything. If this fails, how can, if I cannot supply material to location A, how can can I manage it from location B? Means to manage the entire supply chain digitally, not just the supply chain, all the operations, we shall have a resilience from a technology perspective. Secondly, which is the extension of the last question, shall try to build digital safety norms in place using the new from a health perspective as well as from the on-site perspective using AR VR as Gopiji had said. And thirdly, we shall try to see how we can do, again coming to what Gopiji said, do more with less. Means suppose there were times I was restrained to have just 30% of people in my plant. Can, using those 30% of people, can I do 80% of production? Can I, means it can't be ever 100%. Means whatever we can do, we shall try to have those facilitator technologically to get to that point. So these are three things that any organization shall keep in mind apart from adoption of RPA, ML, AI, cloud, blockchain. Means you can go on and on, but we have to evaluate what is relevant to keep my business in business continuity alive. So that's my take on it. Thank you.
Right. Your take on this, Mr. Gopi, please.
See, when you look at the objective, then it is not like I'm a passionate about so much technology, but is it really going to make sense in the company wise? When you look at it. So I'll put it in objective. It's a very simple way when you look at it. First I want to reduce the maintenance cost. That's what all the business want, because and they want to reduce the downtimes. when you talk about all these things, then it's about managing the logistics and warehouse department faster and more efficiently. So these are the quick winners actually. But at the same time, what other thing the board and the large management want: increase the output, increase the production's quality, increase the customer satisfaction, increase efficiency. This is what people normally are. And over and above, security. No matter what, don't compromise on security. Now everybody is clear on that. I don't want any physical security. I don't want any ransomware or any other attacks or any other security. So ensure that there is no compromise on security. So when you talk about this area, what are the technology going to help? Of course, cloud going to help. And safety, already we talk about AR, AI, ML, all these things will going to help. And data, and the largest thing, a lot of people going through the toughest one with the new devices, the data. Because the data, even one small device will generate per day maybe 5 to 6 GB as data. Or when you look at the massive way, you want to keep it for 1 year or something, how you will handle such a massive data, and how you will ensure that it is not a junk data, it is really a make sense out of the data, and what are the interpretation we are able to do, and it will help us. So that is one of the beautiful thing. And over and above, the new technology like a blockchain or other thing inevitable, we can't avoid that, and it is going to play a huge role. It is going to. Same thing like the cyber security, it's getting into digital security. And the digital security, which is starting from end user to machinery or in a cloud computing or any other way, which is we can't avoid it. So that is also getting strengthened like anything. So these are the focused area. The technology name keep modifying, keep updated in day to day. Where when you talk about the same session in next year, the technology name may be modified again. But actually the work will be remain the same almost. It's about the same. We'll talk about the efficiency, we talk about the cost cutting, we talk about the more productivity, more security. And I can say that that's how it works. Thank
Right, definitely. The concerns remains the same, just that how you deal with them changes with time and with the technology advancement. That's right, perfectly explained, Mr. Gopi. And so, at the end, I would like to request both of you to kindly give the closing remarks and summarize the discussion and this yeah, our thoughts on this topic. So, Mr. Sharad, I would like to start with you. Your closing remarks, please.
So one thing interesting, I am taking from what Gopiji is talking about. So names will keep on changing, but intent will not. So obviously, I participated in one of the events which was focused on Industry 5.0. So probably by the time we retire, it would be Industry 10.0 or 20.0. We don't know. So, but the intent is uh, technologically acquire whatever we want to, which can add business value, but in capital words, humanly. Means we have to care about human life more and more and try to preserve it to the max. Technologies will aid, technology rather shall be used in aiding for betterment of human lives. Probably it may sound, I may sound that it's a preaching session, but yes, that's what I started feeling from last year at least. Thank you.
Rightly said, Mr. Sharad. I think human touch and human should be considered in anything we do at any step of industry advancement. Thank you so much for these closing remarks, Sharad ji. And Mr. Gopi, your closing remarks, please.
thank you. See, I think we just need to continue to be empathy, and not only within our team or ourselves. It's important to have empathy towards the company, because that is one of the important things. Second is safety come first. So whatever the technology we are talking about, it is important to have that, along with that safety measurements. And third is no matter what, people are the assets. So it's important to ensure that they are up to the mark and they reach to the latest technologies and training and development, all these things happening, and it is supposed to continue to do that. So rest all, when the people are grown up, when the people are having a excellent knowledge, people keep adaptive, open-minded, then they will the process they will take in the place, and new technology they don't care, anything is coming. And fourth most is ready for any kind of disaster like a COVID. It's come unexpected way, so it is important to have the mindset, okay, in anything happen tomorrow, or the next whatever those things is coming up. Let's ensure that we are prepared for it and think in a future way, and it is important to have that along with the empathy. Thanks.
Right, right. I think it was a wonderful discussion with the two eminent leaders of Indian industries ecosystem, Mr. Gopi from Reliance Industries, Vice President, and Mr. Sharad, Group CIO of JK Tires Industries. It was pleasure talking to you and taking insights on how, with this new normal industry 4.0 is redefining the manufacturing sector. Thank you so much, and we would like to present the speaker certificates to both of you who are spending time and giving such insightful thoughts to our audience to witness. Mr. Sharad Agarwal, Group CIO of JK
Thank you.
Tire
Thank you very much.
Industries. Thank you so much, Sharad, and Mr. Gopi Thangawal, Vice President of Reliance Industries. Gopi ji, thank you so much for joining us. Audience, thank you so much for watching us. And here I hand over it to you, Aman.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Karthik sir, for moderating the session, and thank you, Mr. Gopi Thangavel, VP Reliance Industries, and Mr. Sharad Agarwal, Group CIO, JK Tires and Industries, for providing their valuable thoughts and insights on the panel discussion, where the topic was Industry 4.0, redefining manufacturing amid the new normal. Okay, I request all our delegates, if you have any questions for our panelists, you can always drop them in the chat box to be found on the left hand side of your screen, and the panelists will answer it whenever they may like to do so. So now we will have a 20-minute break, and we will return again at 12:30 for our next panel discussion on digital resilience, thinking outside your four walls. So stay tuned and see you all again at 12:30.